getting forward with sustainable sanitation. And let me start with Ghada Kastab. She's from University of Jordan. Just to reflect on what do you think about challenges that are existing in the region that may hinder the progress or getting with sustainable sanitation.
Okay. Can you hear me like that? Thank you, Maha. Actually, adverse impact of poor sanitation is well known to all of us. The thing that I would like to bring up is some figures. Like in 2015, the number of deaths caused by poor sanitation was 17 million, compared to number of deaths from terrorist attack that was 30,000. The thing is that, well, where are our efforts, where it is going? That means we need political will, supported by regulations, standards, to be able to come into sustainable sanitation that will spur the adverse impact of poor sanitation. So it's political will, that's on one hand. The other hand is the economical feasibility on sustainable sanitation, because also in 2015, a global cost of poor sanitation was 223 billion. So it's really, the numbers are shocking. That means we have to balance our global efforts and bring more attention into the issues of sanitation and sustainable sanitation. That's also, we have other adverse impacts besides health and the number of deaths. It's the load of nitrogen and organic pollutants. That's also, we are losing money in this regard because we are not focusing on nutrient recycling, which is part of the sustainable sanitation. So in my opinion, these are the main challenges, especially the political will, or I don't pushing toward more.
Okay, so so you raised 2 points: the political will and regulations. Okay, those can be challenging topics in order to move on. I also would like to get some more reflections on that. Maybe Mifleh Alaween from Swiss Development Cooperation reflect on that.
Thank you, Maha, for this question. Actually, I would like first to compliment with what my colleague Moyed mentioned. You talk about the needs. I think in a region, or like in Jordan, for example, we have water shortage and scarcity water, or it is a demandable issue. The need is there. But why there is no acceptance? Why is this not yet accepted by the people? I don't think the need is the key. And how as a technician can present this in more productive way as alternative solution, which is safely used, and to make the people themselves value this as a resource rather than a waste. This is the key issue. I think the most of the farmers, the most of the people, they are suffering with the water shortage, and they are in a need. But because we are not yet reached this point, how we can present this as a resource. I think if we overcome this, point, and let the people as well to recognize the consequences of not having this sustainable sanitation in place, I think we can, in this way, at least reach an agreement with them. We are talking about not just I call it conventional, or what we call it, the traditional impact of, or the risk of not having this system in place. But there are other impact, which is in the socio-economic aspect. For example, I will give you a practical example from the region. When they don't value this as a resource, they value it as a waste and a risk. It's consequently affect negatively the assets of the people, the land, the surrounding area. If I have a treated plant surrounding my area. What does it mean? It means will make my land less value. It will be smelly. Nobody will visit in this area. Therefore, this is the most impact. Not the, I know there are, this is tradition or what we call it, the physical impact, like the risk impact, the health impact. Yes, they are very important. But I think the key issue is the socio-economic impact. Nobody, and you know some cases in this region, it's failed. Why? Nobody now in a favor to have close to his land a treatment plant. While he is asking for water and he's suffering from the water. Because I don't think we reach the point how to value this as a resource and safely used in different purposes. I think this is the key point that we have to look at it when we go to such a project. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. So with respect to the social acceptance, it is a key, it is critical, and your point is like to value this as a resource and present it as a resource rather than as waste. And I now would like to take the other dimension that is related to regulations and maybe institutions as well, and would like to ask Malik, Assistant of the Secretary General of WAJ, maybe he can reflect on challenges maybe locally, but also at the regional level, if you are aware about it. But in principle, what do you think? Do you think that there can be an issue with respect to regulation, that it's, for example, in some areas that it's very strict and this may hinder the application or expansion of the service to the, let's say, rural community or poor areas? Can you please reflect?
Thank you, Dr. Maha. Actually, it's interesting that what I've heard here, most of what I'm hearing is more, polite and diplomatic way, of tackling this issue. While we are dealing with a real situation. In Jordan, actually is covered by central systems, around 64% of the Jordan geography, but not covering the whole, civilized areas or rural areas. When it comes to regulation, monitoring, and standards, guidelines, there should be some kind of integration of all governing rules, laws, bylaws, and regulation guidelines to work in an integrated way to solve all the issue. We are still, scattered among these kinds of frameworks here, guidelines, different standards, different, So I think when it comes to the central system, we are facing a huge demand. We have introduced the framework for the decentralized system as an alternative solution and as complementary to the investors. To minimize the burdens on the public sector, burdens. At the same time, we have applied compact package units here and there in the Za'atari camp and in the police department and different way. We have practiced different models under decentralized. We have tackled the domestic wastewater separate from the industrial and the domestic at the same time. Let me just actually focus mainly on our challenges regarding the sustainability of the existing systems and the future ongoing project. We are facing a very huge problem with the operation and maintenance. We have developed, different options, different models. So we have categorized the O&M, the sanitary sewage systems and wastewater treatment plants and lifting station to be either, in-house capacity building or through outsourcing, or through the water utilities, the operation as an operators. and also through the construction contractors for quite a small period from 2 to 4 years. We are still suffering from, sustaining and the maintenance and operation, specifically because we are introducing very high technology, and we have now in our plans cogeneration with solar, and we have this sludge management, sludge lines with water lines, etc., etc. So we are facing a huge, challenges regarding institutional, organizational, etc. But I want just to focus more on the recently issue that have been we are facing now. It's the sludge issue, the disposal and reuse. We have integrated reuse schemes in all of our wastewater facilities, and we are still promoting, the end user, and we are promoting the associations among the user of the reused effluent. And now also we have tackled the issue of the tariff, so we have raised the tariff a little bit, and it was accepted. Yeah, at the beginning they have rejected, then they accepted because there is a huge need for, water to be used in restricted agriculture. So a lot of challenges we are facing, but we are developing, but we need, a guidelines, standards to be specific to cover all the activities, in this business. Sorry for
So just to summarize, it's like some challenges related to successful business model, to find out the most successful business model that can also work and take over the operation and maintenance together with also sludge topics, right? So this is the point. There is a challenge with operation and maintenance, but you are also dealing with this currently, but still in progress, right?
Yes, you know that our treatment facilities are generating a huge quantities of sludge disposal, and we have only recently started to, tackle this issue and to try to, develop the management of the sludge and biosolids. We are facing around 65 tons per day, generated from our 31 treatment plants, in addition around 200 tons from a summer. So it's a huge problem. It's economically, to go for incineration. We have developed a mono landfill in the Samra now with the support of KfW, and we are now planning to also construct a new mono landfill in the north. So, and we are still facing the issue of the rejection in the land application.
Okay,
so we have developed.
So we come back again to the social acceptance. So we will try to find out how to move on. Now, what can be done to move on? But first, maybe you have one word on that, but please very short.
Yeah, just quickly. I think facing challenges can't be by taking each challenge by itself. You should look at the holistic picture, because if you face economic challenges, then you might work out with the social challenges. If face something like institutional regulation challenges, so you can categorize challenges. It really should be holistic, and we should start shifting our way of thinking, or the way we handle things, into more integrated challenge management.
Okay, I definitely agree. All of these components should be tackled together in order to come up with a move on. But I would like to ask now, Muayyad, if you have in mind something like how to move on now with sustainable sanitation. We all know it's a necessity. We all need it. The question is, and the people, of course, everyone, if you go and ask him for, do you want sanitation services, he's more than willing. But when it comes to education, so how do you think, is there a certain model or I know it's a challenging question because we are already faced with this topic, but do you think, for example, I'm just throwing something, like, do we think of a kind of awareness campaigns long enough, maybe it takes 2-3 years, just awareness, education, what are the consequences of not having these sanitation systems, and then we come up with the projects, or if there is other suggestions?
Right. I need to reiterate that we need really to differentiate first between centralized and decentralized wastewater treatment. When we're talking about decentralized wastewater treatment plant, we need social acceptance, definitely. We totally agree. At small scale. Now, and we need to differentiate between needs and demand. I know this is quite complicated and this is a kind of sociological issue, but this is quite important. Because what you mentioned now in your introduction, that we all know that people, they need sanitation. I would argue that in some places, they don't need sanitation. In terms of, they need sanitation, of course, but they don't need some particular sanitation that is depicted in our mind. They do have their system. They are fine. Why you're coming now? But I do have money. I have fun. Okay, I need sanitation. so this is fake need. This is fake. This is what I need to stress upon, actually. So we need to differentiate between needs and demands. I don't want to go through Maslow's hierarchy of needs, because this is going to be a long story.
Yeah, but the question is how. I fully agree, but then the question is how. Now you want to move on. I really would like to know how. That you want to introduce it to the community, so how?
Right.
Rapid rural appraiser, you already did it for several places. No one will say no.
Excellent question.
And now what?
Well, I need to go to the community and ask them, what's your need? I am not special. I don't have any experience, or I don't have any certificate in water or sanitation. I don't have any pre-plan. What's your need? Right. If he doesn't have this need in sanitation, so change the place. Go to the place that there is a need for sanitation. There is a need for decentralized wastewater treatment, for example. And then you can move forward.
Okay, for projects, yes. And
If you
Mr.
allow
maybe
me,
you want to add something?
yes.
It should be very fast.
Very
because
short,
we
yes.
have-
I think the first thing what we need, how we put this in a business model. This is the first thing, how we create benefits. This is the first. Because we are not talking about sewage system. We are talking about the reuse of these products. This is the question. Everybody needs sanitation, but they don't need to see the wastewater. It's to send it far away from them. What is our challenge is how to convince the people to reuse these resources. I think this is the first, is the business model, how to close the cycle and create the benefit. This is the first. The second, which is a little bit is far away from all the technicians, the regional level. When we don't have acceptance at regional level, this is another challenge, by the way, because we are a country interconnected to each other. When we need to export some products that is irrigated or with some treated wastewater, might be not accepted at regional level. Therefore, I think this is interconnected with each other. If we have this environment to accept these kind of products that produce in this way, I think this is the demand, and we create the demand at regional level. But so far, I don't think this is accepted at regional, even at national, which make the life of the technician more difficult to mainstream this, system in the ground.
Okay, thank you very much. It looks like a very nice conclusion. We have also to deal with it as a resource, and our program should be directed to this direction and to show that it is working as a resource. And once it has benefits, then it should work. And the other point that you raised at regional level, maybe we can also think of regional guidelines, or regional standards, well accepted between different countries at the region, that facilitates, we create common understanding on what do we mean. And then, and this I fully agree. And then if we can come up with something like this, I think we can just move ahead with this concept. And with this, I would like to conclude and ask all of you, please, to come to attend the launch of the Compendium at booth number 9. So we will be there all waiting for you. With Swiss chocolate. This is a good reason, at least.
Chocolate and dates, by the way.
Okay, and thank you very much.